Happy Tuesday, everyone. This week's Teacher Tip Tuesday is all about motivation. So as we get closer to the end of the year, I was trying to think of a video that I've done in the past that talked about that piece of like, it's almost there. You're tired, you're sort of withering away. You are the balloon at the party that's losing its helium and slowly just falling to your doom. And so I thought of this video, my wife reminded me of this video actually, that I made for a friend online, another YouTuber that was having a hard year a couple of years ago. And I saw her video online and I made a response to it. And so the middle of that is to every teacher. It's not just to her specifically. And I just thought this was good. I don't know, something good to fill yourself up with. I think that this time of the year, it's a really good time to just fill yourself up with as much goodness as you can because it helps hold you up and it helps you give that goodness to other people as well. So here's that video for this Teacher Tuesday. Primary, and to all of the other teachers out there that are struggling with this at the end of the year, there is a 95% chance that you are awesome. You are doing the best that you can. And when we do the best that we can, sometimes we succeed and sometimes we still fail. You are not the be-all end-all in a child's life. And although as teachers we want to be, we want kids to feel loved and we want to change their lives, every once in a while someone comes along that we can't change their life within that school year, right? There's only so many hours and you're trying to spread your love and your kindness and your knowledge to all the children in the class. And sometimes there's a kid that's going to fall by the wayside. But here's what I think you do with that. I think that you think long-term about that child. You wonder about what can you be for that child next year when they're in someone else's class, and the year after that, and the year after that, and when they're in 8th grade and 10th grade and at their graduation. Because I think what happens when you do that is you build this relationship that then becomes unbreakable. Then it shows that child that no matter what goes on or who they are or how they're acting, you will be there for them. And it will help teachers in the future that are struggling with this kid. Because sometimes the parental involvement is not there. Sometimes moms and dads don't know what to do. As a parent, I know that sometimes you just don't know what to do with your kids. Like they didn't come with an instruction booklet or any directions. There's not even a YouTube video available that says, this is what you do when you have kids. It's tough. I feel for the teachers and for the parents and for the children. But I think one of the keys to success is consistency. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying with that child. Even on your toughest days, they know that you still showed up to school. And then next year, make sure you see them in lunch. Say hi to them in the hallway. Touch base with them at parent-teacher conference night or wherever you might run into that kid, because that's going to build a bond that's going to show that child that you consistently care for them year after year after year. Quick story from my own life. Years ago, I had a student that came into my 9th grade literature class thinking they knew more than everyone else, was rude to the other students, rude to me, had a wall built in front of her that she would not let anyone pass. She wouldn't let anyone in. She wouldn't talk about things. She was doing everything in her power to not let people in. And so she went through her 9th grade year in my class and things were what they were. But the next year I kept up with her, and the next year I kept up with her, and the next year I kept up with her. What I tried to do was like chisel away at that hardened exterior to let her see that someone was going to not let her go. I was not going to not stop caring about her no matter what she did. And you know what? 2 days ago, she walked into my house. She came into my kitchen as my wife and I were getting dinner ready, and she broke down in tears. Now, I've built a relationship with the student over the years, even after high school, as she went through college and as she got into her profession. This wasn't like a surprise visit, but she did just stop by after work one day and broke down into tears in my kitchen just because she saw my wife and I and she had missed us. And that's what I'm talking about. That's not going to happen with every student, nor does it need to happen with every student. Some kids have happy lives at home, and God bless them. They have someone to go home to that cares about them. And I'm not trying to also say that kids that are struggling in school don't have parents that care for them, because it's not the truth. At the end of the day, remember, it's about the kids and it's not so much about us. We do need to take care of ourselves, and we do matter. You do matter. This goes to any teachers. If you're thinking about not coming back next year, I want you to, before you make that decision, to think of what could you do with more than a year with a student? Like if you kept showing up year after year, and about the kids that are losing attention because that child's gaining all the attention. So when that child, you know, the kid in your class that that requires all of your time and energy. How many other students in your class are flying under the radar or are not being shouted out? And so Primary did say in her video that she was writing notes to those kids and trying to shout them out and give them attention. And I just think that is that's the perfect thing to do. But for those of you that maybe aren't doing that step, don't forget about those other kids that are in your class as well that just need you to say, hey, look, I know things have been crazy, but you have been a shining example of what it means to be a student in our class. And I wish every kid could have this quality of yours, could have your patience, could have your level of kindness, could have your level of understanding. And for that, I just think you are a complete superstar. Maybe even have lunch with just those kids one day and just say, I'm not saying you're better than anyone else, but I'm just saying you have something that I want to celebrate because you are a magical person in our classroom. The last thing I would say, and I had a video about this last week, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. There are kids in the world that to go to the principal, to go to the counselor, to go to your administration isn't going to make that kid act any better. To call mom isn't going to make that kid act any better. But what you could do, and I've had some success with this, build a community of teachers around that student. Maybe it's their gym teacher, maybe it's you, the computer teacher, the library teacher, a teacher that they had last year. You come together as a loving group and surround that child, and maybe you have lunch with them one day a week. Maybe you just let them know that you're all on the same page and that you know they're great. You know their greatness is in there. And as a team, you're hoping to amplify that greatness. I think that can have a really lasting impact on students. In my experience, students often think that teachers don't talk to one another or only talk about the bad things about kids. They don't get together enough to celebrate who a child is or what a child has done. That's that. I know it's kind of long, but it's a Saturday, it's rainy, it's the end of the school year, and I know this is the toughest time of the year for a lot of teachers. And that's it. I like that my hair is all slicked back looking in that video. I look like I should have a leather jacket on or something like that.
Well, that's cool, baby.
To all of you that are out there dealing with this sort of thing, I just want to leave you with this one last sort of idea. Is that as teachers, we're constantly planting seeds, right? And some of those seeds are going to grow quickly. Right? Some of those kids we work with, they're going to have an instant impact, the communication, the relationship that we're trying to build with them. And then other kids, it's not. It's going to take a longer time to grow. So morning glories here in the Northeast where I live grow rampantly, right? You plant those seeds, you could plant them on accident. They grow all over the place and they're beautiful and they're awesome to have, unless they take over your whole garden and then that's an issue. But something like Mexican sunflower seeds, for me, they don't grow in my backyard until about late August or early September. And so you have to wait. But they're so much more special when that happens. You just don't know when these seeds that you're planting are going to bloom. And I would just encourage you to just keep planting seeds, keep watering them, keep tending them, because you just never know when you're going to be surprised by joy. And that's it, gang. Hope you have a great week. Peace.